I'm Davy, and I'm awesome. And welcome to Davy's Awesome Stories, where I tell funny stories from my past or go on a rant in an effort to make you laugh. This week I'm giving advice to single people as somebody who was single myself and really not happy with it when I was. Not gonna lie, I'm not judging you guys now, because like you whiny singles, I was there, crying and moaning like, I just want somebody to love, I got so much love to give. When I was younger, I was that guy. But here's the thing, even as that guy, I was still selective, and I'm still watching out for certain red flags. What I see a lot of today, though, is singles who want to be in a relationship so bad that they ignore every red flag. I'm going to give you advice on a few of those things. My first piece of advice, though, not really a red flag, just some good advice that I wish somebody would have given me. You single people don't want to be single anymore. You want to find someone, you want to settle down, you want to get married, because you have so much love to give, you want to find somebody that you truly love. Take it from me. Instead of doing that, try this. Marry somebody that you don't love. Seriously. That way, if you make them mad, who cares? Like, think of the bliss of being in a fight and being allowed to say whatever you want to say. Like, she comes at you with, I can't believe you said that. I am so hurt. Yeah, well, go heal. I'm playing a video game. You can't say that to somebody you love. Or she's sitting there like, sometimes I think you just don't care about me. I don't. I can't believe you would say that. I can't believe you're still saying things. Believe me, you can't say these things to somebody you actually love. Because when you love them, despite the fact that you're angry and you kind of want to say these things because you're just that mad and want to hurt them, in the back of your mind, you're like, you know what, though? I do actually want them to come back. Imagine that kind of a leverage when you're having a couple's fight. That, you know what, you want to leave? Whatever. But here's the thing, I'm sure you're going to ignore me and you're going to go marry somebody you love anyway. Predictable. So here's some advice for if you're single and you're thinking about getting married that you should actually think about before you get married. These are red flags you should look at. Now I know if you're watching and you're in that situation, your first thought is, who cares about red flags? All you need is love. All you need is love? Yeah, okay. I hate to break it to you, but life is not a Beatles song. Don't get me wrong, loving each other is good. Love is what keeps you going when you're having those really hard times where you're stressing out thinking, okay, honey, so what do you think is more important this month? Paying the rent or eating? Love will get you through those, but sometimes love is not enough. People get divorced despite the fact that they love each other. So I'm going to give you a few pearls of wisdom, just a few. The first one, ask important questions. Like, think about things that are deal breakers to you and make sure you cover those before you get married. Like, one big deal breaker that I've seen break up several couples is the question, do you want to have children? Now, yeah, there are some people who are like, when it comes to kids, I could take them or leave them. But then there's a lot of people who definitively want children, and other people who definitively don't want children. Those people don't mix. And I speak from experience. There was a girl I was very interested in once. She was actually interested in me. So, in my case, jackpot. But then it came down to that. We knew we could never get serious because, in the long run, she did not want children. Ever. And in the long run, for me, that was a deal breaker. I had to have kids. But not only have I known couples who got divorced over that issue, I remember one of my wife's old friends thinking we were going to be on her side when she was like, my husband doesn't want kids, but I really want kids. And I think he's ready, he just doesn't know it yet. Well, I hate to break it to you, but in a relationship, if one of you says you're not ready, then you're not ready. Plus, he doesn't want them. And she thought I was going to get on her side because we had a kid and she knew how important that was to us. So she asked, okay, but what's more unfair? Somebody who wants kids never having them? Or somebody who doesn't want kids having a kid and loving it? There's no one that's more unfair than the other. If somebody wants kids and never gets to have kids, that's unfair. But it's also unfair if somebody doesn't want kids and is put in a situation where they're given an ultimatum to have kids. But I think he'll change his mind once he has a kid. Well, I can't see any flaw in that logic. And I've heard that one more than once by more than one person who thinks that, you know what, maybe if I just get pregnant, he'll change his mind. Or even maybe if I just get her pregnant on accident, she'll change her mind. I hate to break it to you, but in most cases, that's not how it works. Sometimes it does. Sometimes once they have the kid, they're like, you know what? I love this kid, and I'm glad I'm a parent. But oftentimes it doesn't. They love the kid, but they feel guilty because they don't want it, and then there's resentment between them and their spouse for putting him in that position in the first place. Not only that, but this same girl, after she got married, found out her husband is terrible with money. And that's another one I love, is people saying, money doesn't matter when you have love. Again, I refer to the rent or food debate. Believe me, money does matter even though you're in love. But then again, what will help that is if the money problems are just things that happen. Things come up. Cars break down. Cost of living goes up. Companies go under, so you lose jobs. Medical emergencies happen. You miss work, plus you have now these expensive bills. Things happen. But when those situations that you just couldn't avoid happen, and that's why you're struggling with money, it's not as difficult on a marriage as you're just married to somebody who can't have $1 without spending $5. That kind of stuff puts a lot of strain on marriage. And what I think is funny about that is how many people get married knowing and not caring that this is what their spouse is like and doing absolutely nothing about it. When my wife and I first got married, she wasn't bad with money. She wasn't the kind of person that had to spend it all, but she lived with her parents until she got married to me, so she never really had to pay bills and stuff. And by that point in my life, I'd gotten pretty good at managing money, budgeting, living within my means. So it started with my wife being willing to learn from me, and now she handles the money because we're compatible that way. We both are the kind that live within our means. But here's the thing. The girl in this situation, she wasn't any better with money. If both of you are really bad with money, then either before you get married, you need to fix that problem, or maybe marry somebody who is good with money and let them take the finances. But this same idiot said, money doesn't last. Relationships do. Yeah, I hate to break it to you, but I've seen a lot of marriages not last because the money didn't last. Another one was the way the guy acted when they got into fights. I'm not going to get into that one. It was a little too personal, but definitely ways that you shouldn't be acting. Basically, he did what a lot of guys, myself included, like to do, which is don't fight, bottle it inside, and hopefully someday it will just turn into cancer and you'll die. But even I had to learn that's not a very good way of fighting. Kind of need to let things out. But apparently, the entire time they were dating and engaged, they had never had one fight. Which is why I definitely advise, don't get married until you've had a fight. Because I do also hear that stupid crap of, we're so good, we're so compatible for each other, because we never fight. Not once. But that's not good. People who never fight, you know what happens? They bottle it up and they explode over something stupid. And if you're lucky, all they do is say some really nasty, hurtful things to you when they explode. Those are the people who could only bottle up for so long. People who could bottle up even longer, they're the ones you hear about the news who are now stuffing their wife down the garbage disposal because she burnt the toast. You gotta let it out. Couples fight. My wife and I fight. I hate it. Because she wins. Because she cries. But fighting can be healthy. But then there's fighting that's not healthy, which is why it's important, before you get married, have a fight. Get into an argument, a shouting match. See what they're like. Do they shout a lot? Do they get angry? Do they punch walls? Or do they get passive aggressive? Or the person that I'm just really not compatible with, the kind of person who says just really overly mean things. Like the kind that over the smallest things just goes right for the jugular. Like you come in and you're like, you know, I gotta say something. I am the only one who's been doing the dishes for like a month now, and I don't think that's very fair. Well, I don't think it's fair that you're a pansy complaining about dishes when you should be trying to bury yourself and get out of this crappy apartment, but you won't because your ambition is about as pathetic as you are in bed. Well, then I guess I'll just go do the dishes, because I'm honestly not very upset by that anymore. Yes, I've known people like that, the kind of people who say things like that, and you're just sitting there like, how are you talking to me like this? I'm not some guy in traffic or at the store you're cursing out but are never going to see again. I live here! But this same girl, who all these problems, and there were so many problems, red flags that she did not discuss with her husband before they got married, it led to the question, what exactly did you guys talk about before you got married? Like, why did you get married? Well, we have so much in common. We like the same kind of music. We like the same kind of movies. We both love Pepsi and hate Coca-Cola. You both like Pepsi? Really? That's great. Because I've known so many marriages that have been sustained or folded over cola. So basically the best advice I can give any single person is before you do get married, discuss important things. My wife and I, if you've watched the story of how I met their mother, you know, we weren't together for very long before we got married, but we'd had a fight. Turned out we're okay. We talked about children. We talked about where to live. We talked about finances. We talked about all these things before we got married. So even though it was quick, but we had more of an idea of what to expect than what soft drink we like. So there you have it. That's my story video this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, hit that little bell so you get notifications when I post new videos, and leave a comment. Tell me about some advice you wish you would have gotten before marriage. Tell me if you're going to take my advice and marry somebody you don't love. Love you guys.